You can use Microsoft Copilot entirely on the Copilot website, but there are other options. In other videos, we'll see how to use Copilot inside of apps like Word and Excel. But first, in this video, we're going to see how to work with the core Copilot chat features inside of dedicated Copilot apps instead of the website. I'm Nick, and this is video 9 out of 14 in my training course on using Copilot in a company or similar organization. You can find links to the other videos in the description. I'm starting at the website for Microsoft 365 Copilot, which is also the main hub for the Microsoft 365 subscription itself. Now, the official name of this website, according to Microsoft, is the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. This can be confusing because we don't generally think of a website as an app. What might make this a bit more confusing is that there is a separate standalone application that comes with Windows with that same name, the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. And there's also a mobile app for smartphones called the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. It may help you to think of the website as the Microsoft 365 Copilot web app and recognize that it's just one way of accessing these tools. Let's take a look at one of the alternatives, the Copilot mobile app. If you go to the App Store on iPhone or Android and search for Copilot, you're likely to find an app called Microsoft Copilot. But don't stop there. There will also be a separate app called Microsoft 365 Copilot. The app that's simply called Microsoft Copilot is for individual users with a free Microsoft account, and it offers a different version of Copilot. The Microsoft 365 Copilot app is the one that you need if you're using an account with your company, school, or a similar organization. And this mobile app has almost all of the same features as the Copilot website. The main focus is the Copilot chat, where you can ask questions or make a request. We can see the shield icon with information about enterprise data protection. There's a button to start a temporary chat. And if you have the full Microsoft 365 Copilot subscription, there's the toggle switch for the work mode and the web mode. And if you do choose the work mode, you can even go to the chat field, ask a question, and you can type the / key to search for a person, document, email message, or meeting in your organization. And Copilot can respond with information from your organization. There's a new chat button at the top when you want to start over, or you can tap the button in the top left to open the side panel where you can access your chat history, your library, notebooks, and creation features. There's a gear button for settings, or you can tap your name to manage your account. So almost everything you might do from the Copilot website can be done here, in a mobile app that you can access anytime you're away from your desk. But back on our computer, if you're using Windows, there is a similar standalone app. I'll go to the Start menu, to the list of all apps, and Windows comes with an app that is simply called Copilot. But you may also see the separate app called Microsoft 365 Copilot. This is the app that you should use with an account from your company, school, or a similar organization. If you don't see the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, you can go to the Microsoft Store app, search for it, and download it there. But let's launch this. And there's really not much to talk about here because it's basically identical to the website. Sometimes I like to use this because I have other important work going on in my web browser, and it helps to switch to a different application to use Copilot. Now, you may have heard that Copilot is being integrated into Windows itself more and more. And at least at the time of this recording, most of that integration works through the standard Copilot app, not the Microsoft 365 Copilot app that we're working with here. But there is one thing that we should see. Many Windows computers have a Copilot key on the keyboard. When you hit that Copilot key, it opens the Copilot app. Or if you don't have that key, you can use a keyboard shortcut. Hold the Windows key and tap the letter C. So by default, those keyboard commands open the basic Copilot app. But if you prefer to have those keyboard commands trigger the Microsoft 365 Copilot app, you can change that in Settings. I'll go to the Start menu, to Settings, then to the category for Bluetooth and Devices, then to the subcategory for Keyboard. And there's an option here to customize what happens when you hit the Copilot key or the keyboard shortcut. You can set it to open the basic Copilot app, you could set it to activate Windows Search, or you could click Custom and then set it to open the Microsoft 365 Copilot app. So I'll choose that and click Select and close Settings. And now, when I hit the Copilot key on the keyboard, or that keyboard shortcut, it opens this Microsoft 365 Copilot chat panel, not the full app. If your subscription supports the work mode, it will default to that mode, but there is a button here to exclude work data if you prefer. So I can ask it to summarize my recent emails with Liam. I'll put in that prompt, then hit the return key, and it shows me that information. Now at this point, if you want, there is a button to open the full Microsoft 365 Copilot app. And remember, things are constantly changing, so the interface that pops up when you use the keyboard shortcut certainly may be different when you're watching this, but the option to change what happens when you use the shortcut will likely be there in settings. And finally, if you use Edge, the web browser that comes with Windows, Copilot is integrated into the browser. In the Edge web browser, there's a Copilot button in the top right, but before you click that, you should click the Profile button. You can sign into the Edge web browser with a Microsoft account, and the account that you use here is the account that will determine how the Copilot panel in Edge works. I am signed in to the account that is managed by my company. So when I click the Copilot button, I see the Microsoft 365 Copilot toolset, which of course includes the chat field, but I also see the work web toggle switch at the top. And if I click the menu button on the left, I see the side panel with my chat history. So this lets you use Copilot in the web browser without actually going to the website. So you can work with whatever websites you're working with in the main part of the browser, but still access Copilot tools in the Copilot panel. Of course, you can always work with the Microsoft 365 Copilot app on the web, but if you are away from your desk and need a mobile solution, or if you prefer to keep Copilot separate from the work you're doing in your web browser, you may want to try one of the other versions of the Copilot app. Remember, this video is part of a full training course. This is video 9 out of 14. The links to the other videos are in the description, or you can access the playlist on this channel.